Hey everyone, welcome to episode 8 of SIFTD HQ. I'm Shane Satterfield. I'm up here on the roof. I don't know about y'all, but I'm really starting to feel cooped up. So any chance I can get outside, I'm gonna take it. The only time I really leave during the week is to come and do this show. So this is my one chance to get some fresh air. And so I'm out here getting it done. Hopefully you guys are finding some time to get outside and kind of break up the monotony a little bit. Anyway, this is SIFTD HQ. This is a show that's produced 100% at SIFTD's headquarters in West Los Angeles. You never know what you're gonna get with this show, and the same thing holds for episode 8. Let's check it out.
Turned Up Tuesdays here to get you through quarantine with the best games, albums, movies, and TV shows releasing this week. The last few weeks have been amazing for games, but things are slowing down a bit. If you enjoy SimCity, Civ, and sci-fi, Industries of Titan is right in your wheelhouse. This world builder crossed with 4X strategy takes place on Saturn's moon as you compete to develop the planet. Once you build your settlement, that's just the beginning, as you need to protect it from your rivals. Real-time ship combat, politics, manufacturing, and more will help you create your empire on PC when it launches today. If you're a fan of Monopoly, Billion Road is a nice digital alternative. The goal is to earn as much money as possible as you travel around Japan investing in companies. You also collect items and monsters to handle the heavy lifting. Play solo, local, and online multiplayer with your family starting Thursday for Switch and PC. Fallout 76 has had plenty of free DLC to this point, and a ton of new content rolls out today with Wastelanders. This biggest expansion yet features new quests, weapons, environments, and enemies, along with a new reputation system, fully voiced NPCs, and a whole lot more. It's free if you own the base game, plus discounted special editions are being released for noobs. If you've been waiting for a reason to give Fallout 76 a try, this is it. It's available now for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is the biggest week for music releases since SIFTD HQ launched. 15 albums are out on Friday, and here are our picks of the ones worth remembering. Glenn Danzig was the singer for Misfits, Sam Hine, and his own band called Danzig. People have always said he sounds like Elvis, and now he's out to prove it with his new album, Danzig Sings Elvis. He doesn't just go for the King's biggest songs either. There are well over a dozen songs that plump from the depths of his catalog. Danzig is also going out on the road to perform the songs on a small tour. Just don't request Astro Zombies. Fiona Apple was once the new it girl in pop, but her career has swooned since, and it's been a shocking 8 years since her last release. Listening to the tracks of her new album, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, time hasn't changed her sound one bit. Still plenty of acoustic guitars, songs that just kind of meander along, and lyrics based on men who treated her badly. While Apple's fans may wonder where she's been all this time, Radiohead's groupies have no such issue. The Aloof Band generally releases music whenever it feels like it, with each band member releasing solo projects in between. The latest comes from Ed O'Brien. His new group is called EOB, and its first EP, Earth, launches on Friday. He spent 4 years writing the songs, and they're almost exactly like Radiohead. It's a really slow week for screens both big and small, but we do have one pick we recommend. Documentaries have been taking over Netflix as some of the most watched content during the lockdown. We think The Innocent Files will be the next big hit. This series takes a look at people who are wrongfully convicted and its impact it's had on their lives. There are 9 episodes to binge for the season, and if you're a fan of other Netflix docs like Making a Murderer, your viewing schedule for Wednesday is all set.
Hey, it's Shane here. Welcome to Closet Raiders, where I literally raid my closet to find cool stuff to share with you guys that I've collected across my 20 plus years in the industry. Now, last week we did some hardware. I dug out my old PSP Go and talked a little bit about what it was like to cover the PSP back in the day. However, this week we're going back to swag, and I've talked about how Rockstar generally gives out the best swag. I've shown off a couple things already in this segment, and we have one more for you guys today, and this might be the coolest of them all. So first of all, before I reveal this, I want you guys to look at it and guess what you think it might be. So here we go. So as you can see, it's for Grand Theft Auto 4. I think I had, what did I have of Grand Theft Auto? I had a dartboard from Grand Theft Auto 4 before. But what could this be? Could it be a gun? I mean, Rockstar has sent weapons before. That wouldn't be a new thing for Rockstar. Is it a machete? About the right size. Could it be a golf club even? You know, they did put out a table tennis game and they're a little bougie. It could be a tennis or a golf club. Well, I'll put the suspense to rest and I'll just crack this thing open. I'm interested to see what you guys thought it was though before you saw it. So there's a zipper here at the top that you unzip. And then pull it out. It's time for the big reveal. What could it be? It is a graphite pool cue. Yep, it's a pull stick that is branded Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, you can see I have not opened this. This is the original packaging that it came in. It's never been opened, and I realize that opening this is going to decrease its value, and some of you will cry while I do it, but this is for y'all. I'm gonna open this right here on Closet Raiders. Let's take off the packaging and see what it looks like. So as you can see, it comes in a really nice padded case with Rockstar branding and Grand Theft Auto branding. Let's take a look at the actual cue. Open it from the end that does not have the felt tip on it because we don't want to damage it. So here is the end piece. You can see it's a graphite cue. Comes all the way up to the tip there. Let's take out the bulky piece, or as Rockstar probably describes it, the weapon end of the pool cue, and take a look. This actually has most of the branding. Oh wow, this is really nice. Wow, this is really nice. Okay, so you can see there's a part there that screws in to the other part, and there's the GTA branding. And look at this grip on this. I mean, I'm not a big pool player. My dad used to take me to play pool, but this is the nicest pool stick I've ever seen. Look at this. It's amazing. Now I will say this, it looks like the Grand Theft Auto stuff is just a, oh no, it's not a sticker. It looked like it was a sticker, but it's not. It's actually a part of the cue itself. It's not a sticker. So these have been manufactured specifically for this. What a nice piece of swag. Maybe someday I'll actually use it.
Welcome to Noobs, where we sift through all the new games this week and tell you what's worth following at sifted.net. Murder mysteries are a dime a dozen, but This Is the Zodiac speaking at least has some cultural relevance. You play as a journalist trying to catch the Zodiac serial killer from the 70s. Untangle the web of intrigue using psychological sessions and your detective tools as you try to change the unfortunate fates of each victim. We're going back to Cali when it lands for all major platforms in September. Games like Unfinished Swan prove that games can truly be a work of art. Doja Doña is in the same vein. You play as a 10-year-old who journeys through a colorful world left by a deceased grandparent. Using a journal as your guide, you must collect photos, sounds, objects, and words as memories that remind you of the summer spent with them. It's a passive experience for PC and Switch, which we may all need by the time we get to 2021. The 80s were a lot cooler in pop culture than what they were to actually live through. Commander 85 puts on a far less happy face. You play as a new owner of a Commodore 64 computer that has a mind of its own and gets you mixed up in the Cold War. The authorities soon investigate, and it's up to you, your friends, and a scientist to get to the bottom of the mystery before Earth is ravaged by war. Stop a nuclear winter this fall on all major platforms. Cannibal Holocaust is a film from 1980 that was banned in several countries because rumors swirled that it was actually a snuff film with real murder. While that's not true, it does include real animal deaths. While the film never received a true sequel, its director is reviving the property with interactive horror adventure Cannibal. Little is known about the project right now, but with the director on board, it should stay close to the source material. You'll have plenty of time to catch up on the film while waiting for the game to release in November on every platform, including mobile.
Hi, I'm Shane Satterfield for Sifted News, and welcome to The Big Six, the 6 most important news stories from gaming for the week ending April 14th, 2020. Sony has been slow to reveal information for the PlayStation 5, but this week the company unveiled its brand new controller. Called the DualSense, it certainly looks different than the DualShock 4, but its functionality is mostly the same. It adds haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and a built-in microphone, but otherwise, it's bereft of any truly innovative features. Response to the controller has been mixed online. However, there may be features yet to be revealed. Speaking of controllers, this week it was uncovered that Valve is working on a successor to its Steam controller. Valve's first attempt at a PC-centric control pad received mostly solid reviews, but never quite took off and ended up being steeply discounted. This new revision includes a ton of new features, like swappable parts and a modular design where you can put sticks and D-pads wherever you want. It's looking like an Elite controller for PC, which should give it a chance. Speaking of chances, Microsoft is giving another chance to its beleaguered Xbox One dashboard. The company announced this week that it will not design a new dashboard interface for Xbox Series X. Instead, it will use the current dashboard with the hopes that the increased power will make it run more smoothly. It's been a point of contention since the platform launched in late 2013, so we're crossing our fingers that this is just a placeholder until the new one is built. Or Microsoft could just go back to the timeless Blade interface it used for Xbox 360. Google wishes it could go back and relaunch Google Stadia. It's been such a debacle that people aren't even willing to give it a try. Google is fixing that with a 2-month free trial in 14 different countries. You get Stadia Pro with instant access to 9 games. You can also purchase more games on the store which will remain yours to play even if you cancel your subscription. If you're already a paid Stadia Pro subscriber, Google won't charge you for the next 2 months. Stadia Pro is normally $10 a month, so it's a $20 deal. Dead Island is one of the clearest cases of a video game selling based solely on its trailer. The game itself is decidedly mediocre, but it sold like hotcakes back in 2011. We've been waiting 9 years for the sequel, and we're going to have to wait a little while longer as it's been revealed in a job listing that Dead Island 2 is now a cross-generation game that will include both PS5 and Xbox Series X. It's had multiple developers and publishers, so we're just glad it's in development at all. It's hard to find things to be glad about these days, but CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077 delivered a little ray of light. Despite multiple delays and an extremely long development cycle, the game has finally been rated by the ESRB, which means the game is feature complete and all that's left is bug squashing. This also means that, unlike a lot of other video games, the coronavirus will likely not delay its September 17th release date any further. Who knows? Depending on how things play out, it could end up being the ultimate quarantine game. Well, that's it for the Big Six, the 6 biggest news stories in gaming for the week ending April 14th, 2020. I'm Shane Satterfield, and I'll see you next week.
Final Fantasy VII was originally released over 20 years ago, and you may have played it a dozen times since then, but it doesn't prepare you much for the remake. With combat, materia, skills, limit breaks, and so much more to master, we figured we'd give you some tips having completed the game. Square Enix sure wants to show off Cloud's Buster Sword, so the camera's pushed in tight. If you want an advantage in combat, go into the system menu and push it back a bit. We also recommend tweaking how the lock-on targeting works so you can switch enemies mid-combo. Adjusting these settings may seem like a pain, but it's a long journey and a couple minutes spent in the beginning can provide smooth sailing for dozens of hours. Skills are essential to use in combat, but none is more important than assess. It allows you to scan enemies to find weaknesses, the best way to stagger them, and more. Staggering enemies is critical to success as it's one of the few reliable ways of dealing major damage, so this materia is basically essential. Equip it to any accessory or armor piece if you want something else plugged into your primary weapon. You should use your specified weapon skills as often as possible. Keep using them and you'll eventually master them, allowing you to use the skill with any weapon. This allows for an abundance of options to help you get through the game's most challenging encounters. When you get a new weapon, use it immediately until you mastered it. Then switch back to your trusty Buster Sword to keep using the skill in addition to all the others.
One more shot!
Preparation can be just as important as the skirmish itself. Try to make sure your party has one of each elemental spell. You'll use these to stagger enemies depending on their weakness, so make sure you have every option available. It's especially important when you start fighting creatures that can change their elemental alignment on the fly. This one's pretty obvious, but make sure you have plenty of healing potions. This becomes increasingly important the further you get in the game. A good way to build reserves is to visit a vending machine anytime you see one. They almost always have discounts on various items. Buy health potions every chance you get. You'll be blown away by how many you will need for the endgame. There are plenty of side missions to complete, but you can ignore most of them if you want. The game does a great job scaling your abilities if you mainline straight to the end. However, we recommend completing them later in the game. especially the final batch. Most of them aren't especially interesting, but you'll need every level you can get to send Shinra packing.
All right, that's it for SIFTD HQ episode 8. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Just as a closing note, just want to thank every single one of our patrons who are still there. I want to thank every single person who's subscribing via Twitch Prime. We're in deep trouble right now, and Twitch Prime, it may be the only thing that can save our butts. So please, even if you're subscribing or you're a patron, if you could take that 10 seconds to resubscribe with Twitch Prime, it could be the difference between us being here and not being here when this is all over. So I just want to thank all you guys for all your support. I know everyone's up against it right now, which is, you know, if it happens, it happens. There's nothing I can really do about it. So just much love to you guys. Stay strong, stay inside, but try to get out every once in a while and get yourself some fresh air. We'll see you next week for SIFTD HQ.